chosen one. Heaven just opened your file. Right now, this very second, while you're watching this, there's a courtroom session happening in the celestial realm. The angels have leaned forward, the records are spread wide, and the moment you said no to compromise and yes to righteousness, even when your voice was trembling, heaven stood completely still. Listen to me carefully. This is not coincidence. This is not accident. You didn't stumble onto this message. You were summoned here. Have you ever felt like your sacrifice went unnoticed? Like you walked away from the easy road, kept your integrity intact, did the right thing when nobody was watching and wondered if it even mattered? If that's you right now, I need you to stay with me. This word, it's got your name written in heaven's handwriting. Here's what they don't want you to know. That quiet decision you made, the one that cost you comfort, maybe friends, maybe opportunities that wasn't small, that was monumental. That was the moment your name got highlighted in gold in heaven's record book. And tonight, beloved, God's favor isn't just coming for you, it's hunting you down. I'm talking about divine pursuit. I'm talking about the kind of blessing that doesn't knock politely, it kicks down doors. The kind of breakthrough that doesn't ask permission, it just shows up and rearranges everything. You've been asking for a sign. This is your sign. You've been crying out, God, do you see me? He's been saying, child, I never stopped watching. If you're still breathing, this message has your spiritual DNA all over it. Drop 777-inch. The comments right now, not as superstition, but as agreement with heaven that you're ready to receive what's been prepared for you. To every soul who's walked with this ministry through prayer, through sharing, through seeding into this work, you're not just supporting content. You're partnering with heaven to reach someone standing on the edge of giving up. Now breathe deep. Stay close to this word, because what you're about to discover about that choice you made, the one that felt like loss, is about to rewrite your entire story. The favor is already moving. The blessing is already en route. And before this night is over, you'll understand why everything had to happen exactly the way it did. This is just the beginning. Do you remember the exact moment when nobody was watching? When the choice was yours alone, and your heart was pounding so hard you thought heaven could hear it? When you stood at that crossroads where the easy path gleamed like fool's gold, but something deeper, something holy whispered, not this way, beloved. That moment, that invisible, trembling, costly moment, the world moved on without applause. Your phone didn't buzz with congratulations. No one posted about your integrity on social media. But in that silence, something earth-shaking happened. Heaven leaned in. Maybe you walked away from gossip that was spreading through your church, your neighborhood, your family, even when staying silent felt like social suicide. Maybe you refused to cheat on your taxes when money was tighter than bark on a tree. Maybe you forgave that person who wounded you so deep the scar still aches, when bitterness would have felt like sweet revenge. Maybe you chose truth when lies were easier. Maybe you stayed faithful when everyone else was cutting corners. Others forgot it. But God didn't. Listen to me, chosen one. In a world drunk on loud rebellion, your trembling obedience carried more weight than someone else's screaming defiance. Heaven doesn't measure volume. It measures the direction of your heart, and your heart chose him when it cost you everything. The prophet Jeremiah heard these words straight from the throne. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. That wasn't just ancient poetry. That was heaven's contract with your obedience. Every hard decision you made aligned you with divine destiny. You see, obedience is like a seed dropped into soil at midnight. No one applauds the planting. The earth looks unchanged, but heaven counts the harvest that's already stirring beneath the surface. But here's what haunts me about your generation, dear one. You've been told your best days are behind you, that your choices don't matter anymore, that you're too old, too forgotten, too set in stone to make waves in the spiritual realm. The enemy has whispered that your moment passed you by. That's the lie from hell itself. Your obedience didn't diminish with age, it deepened like wine. Your faith didn't weaken with years, it strengthened like steel in fire. And that choice you made when your hands were shaking and your voice was barely a whisper, that choice is still echoing through dimensions you can't even see. Do you know what happened the moment you said yes to righteousness? The moment you chose God's way over the world's way? Angels stopped mid-flight. Demons lost their legal right to torment you. Generational curses snapped like dry twigs. The atmosphere around your bloodline shifted so dramatically that your grandchildren will breathe easier because of what you did in that invisible moment. You thought you were just making a choice, but you were rewriting destiny. Every time you turned away from temptation, even when your flesh screamed for relief. Every time you spoke truth, even when lies would have saved face. Every time you honored your word, even when breaking it would have been profitable. You weren't just protecting your character, you were activating divine favor that moves like a tsunami through time itself. The decision that felt like death to your comfort was actually birth to your breakthrough. The moment that felt like loss was the second heaven marked you for unprecedented blessing. Your trembling yes to God became his thunderous yes to you. So, I need to ask you something that might shake you to your core. What if every delay, every disappointment, every door that slammed shut wasn't rejection but redirection? What if heaven was clearing the path because what's coming requires more space than what you lost could provide? Your obedience didn't go unnoticed. It went underground. It went to work in realms you can't see, moving mountains you didn't know existed, opening doors you haven't even approached yet. If you're still breathing, drop "I chose him" in the comments right now, not as religious ritual, but as declaration, as spiritual warfare, as agreement with heaven that your choice mattered, your sacrifice counted, and your obedience is about to pay dividends that'll leave you speechless. Because here's what I know that'll make your spirit leap. That invisible moment of choice, it wasn't the end of your story, it was heaven loading the ammunition for the battle you didn't know was coming. And tonight, beloved, that favor isn't just arriving, it's hunting you down with the relentless love of a God who never forgets the ones who chose him when the lights went out. But there's something else stirring in the heavenly realm right now, something that's about to turn your understanding of divine timing completely upside down. Chosen one, let's talk about the price you paid. The price nobody saw, the price nobody counted, the price that almost broke you. You remember that moment, don't you? When everybody else was taking the easy road, and you stood there at the crossroads, trembling, your heart pounding, your palms sweating, and you whispered no to what everybody else was saying yes to. They called you crazy, they called you stubborn, they called you self-righteous. But heaven heard something different. Heaven heard the sound of a warrior being born. Let me tell you what that no cost you. And beloved, I need you to feel this because your scars are about to become your crown. You lost friends, didn't you? Not acquaintances, real friends. People you'd known for years, maybe decades. They couldn't understand why you wouldn't just go along, why you had to be so difficult, why you couldn't just bend a little. Remember Sarah laughing at your convictions? Remember Mike walking away when you wouldn't compromise your integrity at work? Remember your own sister rolling her eyes when you chose to stand on God's word instead of family tradition? Each goodbye felt like a piece of your heart being ripped out. Then came the family misunderstandings. Oh, this one cuts deep, doesn't it? Your own blood, the people who are supposed to understand you most, looking at you like you've lost your mind. They'd say things like, "Why can't you just be normal? Why does everything have to be about God with you? You're taking this too far. You sat at family dinners feeling like a stranger in your own bloodline. And the opportunities, dear God, the opportunities you walked away from, that promotion that required you to look the other way on corruption, that business deal that would have set you up for life but compromised your values, that relationship that felt perfect on the surface but pulled you away from your faith. You watched others take those same opportunities and prosper while you went home empty-handed. Again, you cried yourself to sleep, wondering if God even saw. If integrity was just another word for fool. If righteousness was just a fancy way of saying broke and alone. But here's what the enemy didn't want you to understand. You weren't being punished. You were being positioned. Like Joseph thrown into that pit by his own brothers, you thought it was your ending. But God was writing your beginning. That pit wasn't your grave, it was your launching pad. Every rejection was heaven's protection. Every closed door was God saying, "Not this one. I've got something greater." Like fire purifying gold, what you thought would break you was actually burning away everything that couldn't survive where you're going. The fire didn't come to destroy you. It came to brand you for heaven's exclusive use. You want to know why you felt so alone? Because eagles don't fly in flocks. Because diamonds are formed in isolation, under pressure. Because chosen ones don't walk the wide road, they carve new paths through the wilderness. That loneliness wasn't abandonment, it was appointment. Every sleepless night you wrestled with doubt, God was there watching you choose Him again. Every tear you cried in secret, He was collecting them like precious jewels. Every time you felt forgotten, heaven was writing your name in gold across the sky. And here's the revelation that's going to shake you to your core. That no you whispered to the devil was a yes that thundered in heaven. When you said no to compromise, heaven's courts erupted in celebration. When you said no to the easy money, angels began preparing your true inheritance. When you said no to that toxic relationship, God started orchestrating your divine connection. Every sacrifice was a seed. Every loss was an investment. Every lonely night was interest accumulating on your heavenly account. The pain you felt? That was withdrawal symptoms from a world you were never meant to belong to anyway. If this is speaking to your spirit right now, don't you dare keep it to yourself. Share this word immediately, because someone you love, maybe someone in your own family, is standing at the edge of compromise right now. They're looking at that easy road, and they need this fire to remind them that the narrow way leads to glory. You've been tested in the furnace, and you came out pure gold. You've been pressed in the winepress, and now you're vintage wine. You've been refined in the fire, and now you carry heaven's brand. But here's what's about to blow your mind. The cost of your obedience is nothing compared to the reward that's been building up with compound interest in heaven's bank. Chosen one, what you need to understand is this. When you made that choice, that trembling, costly, nobody saw it choice, you didn't just change your story, you rewrote your bloodline. Listen to me carefully. Every time you said no to compromise, you weren't just protecting yourself. You were standing guard over generations you'll never meet. Your great-grandchildren who haven't been born yet, they're walking in freedom tonight because you refused to bow. You think that moment was small. You think nobody noticed when you walked away from that opportunity that would have required you to sell your soul. Heaven noticed. Hell noticed. And your family tree felt the earthquake. Here's what the enemy doesn't want you to understand. Generational curses don't just happen by accident. They get passed down through choices, through compromises, through moments when someone in your bloodline said just this once and opened a door that stayed open for decades. But you slammed that door shut. The Bible tells us in Exodus 20:6 that God shows mercy to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. 1,000 generations, beloved. That's not poetry, that's promise. That's mathematical. Your obedience just bought freedom for children who won't be born for centuries. Think about the battles your ancestors fought, the addictions they couldn't break, the patterns they couldn't escape, the chains they wore that got handed down like family heirlooms. You've seen it, haven't you? The same struggles, the same failures, the same destructive cycles playing out in your family like a broken record. But when you stood your ground, when you chose God over gain, integrity over income, righteousness over recognition, you became the circuit breaker. You became the one who said, "This stops with me." Your grandmother who struggled with bitterness, your grandfather who couldn't break free from that addiction, your parents who repeated patterns they inherited. Those chains don't reach your children. Those cycles end at your generation, because you paid the price they couldn't pay. Every time you resisted temptation, you were doing surgery on your family's future. Every time you chose the narrow road, you were paving a highway for those who carry your name. Every tear you shed in obedience was watering seeds that will bloom in bloodlines you'll never see on this earth. Do you understand what this means? Your sacrifice wasn't just personal, it was prophetic. Your obedience wasn't just individual, it was institutional. You didn't just save yourself, you became the bridge. Future generations will walk on. That's why the enemy fought you so hard. That's why the pressure felt supernatural. That's why the attacks were so relentless. Because he knew what you were really doing. You weren't just making a decision, you were breaking a dynasty of destruction. But here's where it gets beautiful, chosen one. Here's where heaven gets involved in ways that will make your head spin. When you broke those generational chains, you didn't just stop the curse, you activated the blessing. When you chose obedience over ease, you didn't just close hell's door, you opened heaven's floodgates. The favor that's hunting you down tonight isn't just about you. It's compound favor. It's generational favor. It's the accumulated blessing of every right choice, every costly stand, every moment you chose God when it hurt. Your great-grandmother's prayers that seemed unanswered, they're getting answered through your bloodline now. Your grandfather's tears over his failures, they're being redeemed through your victories. Every ancestor who cried out, "God, let my children be different," their prayers just got activated through your obedience. This is bigger than a blessing. This is a bloodline breakthrough. This is generational reversal. This is heaven saying, because this one stood, this whole family tree gets to flourish. And if you think God is done with you, you're wrong. Dead wrong. Because when you become a generational game changer, heaven doesn't retire you, it promotes you. It gives you more territory to take, more chains to break, more favor to walk in. The favor that's chasing you down tonight isn't strolling. It's not taking its time. It's running at full speed because it's carrying the accumulated blessing of every generation that couldn't break free but prayed their children would. So here's my question for you. Are you ready to receive not just personal favor, but generational favor? Are you prepared for blessings that don't just change your life, but rewrite your family's entire future? Because what's coming for you tonight carries the weight of eternity and the power of bloodline transformation. Chosen one, I need you to understand something that will shake the foundation of how you see God's blessing. His favor is not some passive thing sitting on a shelf waiting for you to find it. God's favor is not polite. It doesn't knock gently and wait for permission. God's favor hunts. Listen to me carefully. The moment you chose righteousness over comfort, the moment you said no to that compromise when everyone else was bending, the moment you walked away from what looked good but felt wrong in your spirit, you didn't just make a choice. You activated a divine tracking system. Heaven opened a file with your name on it. And favor got an assignment. You see, most people think they have to chase blessing. They think they have to perform, hustle, and prove themselves worthy. But you, chosen one, You did something different. You obeyed when it cost you. You held the line when others folded, and that line you held, it became a magnet. Tonight, right now, as you're hearing this, doors are about to open that you never even knocked on. Opportunities are about to present themselves that you never applied for. Connections are about to form that you never networked for. Why? Because when you chose God over gain, you triggered something in the heavenly realm that cannot be stopped. The psalmist David understood this. In Psalm 23:6, he declared, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life." But here's what most people miss. That word follow in Hebrew doesn't mean stroll casually behind. It means pursue. It means chase down. It means hunt relentlessly. David is saying goodness and mercy are tracking him like a bloodhound on a scent trail. That's what's happening to you right now. Your obedience released hounds of heaven, and they're on your trail. You thought you lost when you walked away from that situation. You thought you sacrificed when you chose integrity over income. You thought you were just barely holding on when you refused to compromise your values. But heaven was watching. Heaven was recording. And heaven was preparing a response that would blow your mind. Here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. Every door that closed because you wouldn't bend was God protecting you from settling for less than His best. Every relationship that ended because you wouldn't compromise was God clearing the path for divine connections. Every opportunity you lost because you chose righteousness was God making room for supernatural provision. You've been wondering, God, when will things turn around for me? The answer is now, tonight, this very hour. The favor that's been building up behind the scenes, like water behind a dam, is about to break through. And when it hits, it's going to make up for every loss, every sacrifice, every lonely night when you wondered if doing right was worth it. You obeyed, and now blessing is on assignment with your name written on it. Not your neighbor's name. Not your family member's name. Your name is on the delivery receipt. What you lost will look like dust compared to what's about to overtake you. The salary you gave up for integrity, God's about to multiply it beyond your dreams. The relationship that ended because you wouldn't lower your standards, God's preparing a divine connection that will make you thank Him for the breakup. The opportunity that slipped away because you wouldn't play dirty. Heaven is orchestrating something so much greater that you'll weep with gratitude. But I need you to do something right now. If you can feel this word resonating in your spirit, if something inside you is jumping and saying, "Yes, this is for me," I want you to drop 888 in the comments. That's not superstition. That's the biblical number of new beginnings and overflowing blessing. When you type those 3 8s, you're agreeing with heaven that you're ready to receive what's been prepared for you. See, here's what happens when favor hunts you down. It doesn't come quietly. It comes with such force that everyone around you will know something supernatural has happened. Your enemies will scratch their heads wondering how you went from struggle to success overnight. Your doubters will have to admit that the hand of God is on your life. They'll ask you, "How did this happen so fast?" And you'll remember this moment. You'll remember when heaven told you that your obedience was about to pay dividends you never calculated. The hunt is on, chosen one. Favor has your scent, and it's closing in fast. Can you feel it? That shift in the atmosphere around your life? That's not your imagination. That's the sound of blessing breaking through barriers. That's the sound of doors unlocking. That's the sound of your season changing from waiting to receiving. But there's something else coming that will absolutely stun you. Something about the specific timing of how this favor will manifest that will leave you breathless. Chosen one, here's what nobody told you about God's favor. It doesn't come with a peace treaty. It comes with a declaration of war. The moment heaven stamped approved on your obedience, hell got the memo. Every demon that had a foothold in your bloodline just received an eviction notice. Every principality that whispered lies over your family tree just lost its legal right to stay. And beloved, they are not leaving quietly. Listen to me carefully. Hell doesn't tremble at your talent. It doesn't shake at your education or your connections or your bank account. But it trembles. It absolutely trembles at your obedience, because obedience carries the signature of heaven itself. Your yes to God wasn't just a personal decision. It was a direct threat to the kingdom of darkness. The moment you chose righteousness over comfort, you didn't just make a choice, you made a statement. You declared to every force of hell, "This bloodline belongs to the Most High." And now they're fighting back. You felt it, haven't you? The moment you stepped into alignment with God's will, the attacks intensified. Suddenly, relationships got strained, money got tight, health issues surfaced, people you trusted turned cold. You started asking yourself, if I'm doing the right thing, why is everything falling apart? Because favor is not quiet, beloved. Favor rattles cages. Favor shakes the gates of hell. Favor terrifies darkness so much that it calls for reinforcements. The Apostle Paul knew this warfare intimately. In Ephesians 6:12, he warned us, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age." You're not fighting your neighbor. You're not fighting your ex-spouse. You're not even fighting your own weaknesses. You're fighting principalities that are terrified of what God is about to release through your life. Here's what the enemy fears most about you. You're not just getting blessed, you're becoming a blessing. You're not just receiving favor, you're becoming a carrier of favor. Every place your feet touch is about to shift. Every person you encounter is about to feel the weight of heaven's approval on your life. That scares hell more than anything. Think about this for a moment. When Jesus walked into regions, demons started screaming before he even opened his mouth. Why? Because favor has a frequency. Anointing has an atmosphere. And when you carry God's approval, darkness can't hide anymore. The same thing is happening to you right now. The enemy is scrambling because he can sense the shift. He can feel the promotion coming. He can see the doors about to open. And he's throwing everything he's got at you because he knows once favor finds you, it's game over for his plans. But here's the truth that will set you free tonight. The very fact that you're under attack is proof that you're about to break through. The intensity of the warfare is proportional to the magnitude of your destiny. They're not fighting you because you're weak. They're fighting you because you're dangerous. They're not attacking you because you're insignificant. They're attacking you because your obedience just unlocked a level of favor that threatens their entire operation. Daniel understood this warfare. When he prayed for 21 days, the answer was delayed, not because God didn't hear him, but because hell was trying to block the blessing. Daniel 10:13 reveals the spiritual battle. The prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days, and behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me. Your breakthrough is facing the same resistance, but just like with Daniel, heaven has dispatched reinforcements. Angels are fighting on your behalf. The same God who moved mountains for Moses is moving obstacles out of your path. Tonight, you're under attack because heaven just promoted you. The warfare you're feeling isn't punishment, it's confirmation. Every fiery dart, every sleepless night, every whisper of doubt is hell's desperate attempt to stop what God has already set in motion. But chosen one, let me tell you what the enemy doesn't want you to know. His attacks actually accelerate your blessing. Every time he tries to discourage you, God increases the favor. Every time he sends opposition, heaven sends reinforcement. Every time he whispers you're finished, the Father roars you're just getting started. The warfare you're walking through isn't random, it's strategic. Hell is trying to wear you down before the breakthrough arrives. But you need to understand the darker it gets, the closer dawn becomes. Right now, while you're listening to this, Angels are positioning themselves around your life. Demonic assignments are being cancelled. Generational curses are snapping like old chains. The very ground hell thought it owned is shifting beneath their feet. If you feel the warfare rising around you right now, don't shrink back. Don't apologize for the favor God is releasing. Stand up in your authority and declare what heaven has already sealed. Type, "I break chains," in the comments right now, not as superstition, but as spiritual warfare. When you declare it, you're not just typing words, you're releasing the sound of victory. You're announcing to every demonic force that their time is up. You're proclaiming that this bloodline, this family, this generation belongs to the kingdom of light. The battle is real, beloved, but the victory is already decided. Favor is hunting you down, and nothing in hell can stop it from finding you. But why is this warfare so intense right now? What is heaven preparing to release that has darkness this terrified? Chosen one, can you hear it? That sound rumbling through the heavens right now? That's not thunder. That's the sound of favor breaking loose from heaven's vault, and it's got your address. Listen to me carefully. You've been walking through seasons where you wondered if doing the right thing was worth it. You watched others take shortcuts while you took the narrow path. You held your integrity when it cost you everything. You chose obedience when compromise looked so much easier. And tonight, this very night, all of that is about to pay dividends you never imagined. Like a bloodhound on a fresh trail, God's favor is tracking you down. It's not walking, it's not strolling, it's running full sprint toward your life. And beloved, it will not miss. It will not slow down. It will not stop until it completely overtakes everything you've been praying for. You want to know why? Because heaven keeps books. Divine accounting never makes mistakes. Every sacrifice you made in secret, every time you chose righteousness when no one was watching, every moment you said no to the easy path, all of it was being recorded in heaven's ledger. And tonight, that account is coming due. Jesus himself promised this in Luke 6:38. Give, and it will be given to you good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be put into your bosom. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. Do you understand what that means? That's not a trickle. That's not a drip. That's a flood. That's an avalanche of blessing that's been building pressure behind heaven's dam, and your obedience just cracked it wide open. You've been asking God, when will my breakthrough come? He's been saying, child, it's already on its way. You've been crying out, God, do you see what I've sacrificed? He's been responding, I see it all, and the reward is bigger than your pain. Right now, while you're listening to this, there are angels receiving marching orders with your name on them. There are doors being unlocked that have your fingerprints on the handles. There are opportunities being positioned that have been waiting for someone with your character, your integrity, your proven faithfulness. This is not wishful thinking. This is prophetic declaration. This is the sound of heaven's machinery grinding into motion on your behalf. You know what the enemy is most afraid of? It's not your anger. It's not your frustration. It's not even your prayers. What terrifies hell most is when a chosen one realizes that their obedience wasn't punishment, it was preparation, that their sacrifice wasn't loss, it was investment, that their faithfulness wasn't weakness, it was their greatest weapon. And tonight, beloved, you're about to see the return on that investment. The favor that's hunting you down isn't just financial, though provision is coming. It's not just relational, though divine connections are being arranged. It's not just emotional, though healing is flowing. This is comprehensive, overwhelming, undeniable favor that will touch every area of your life that was touched by your sacrifice. Tonight is not just another night. Tonight is the night heaven stops whispering and starts shouting your name. Tonight is the night your faithfulness gets vindicated. Tonight is the night favor stops asking permission and starts kicking down doors. You did the right thing when it was hard. You chose God when it was costly. You held on when letting go looked reasonable. And now, right now, the right thing is chasing you down with such force that even your enemies will have to admit that the hand of the Lord is upon your life. Can you feel it building? That anticipation in your spirit? That's not just emotion, that's recognition. Your soul knows what's coming because your soul remembers what you sowed. If this word is burning in your chest right now, if you feel that divine electricity running through your spirit, drop "I walk in favor" in the comments below. Don't just type it, declare it. Prophesy it over your life. Agree with heaven that the hunt is over and you're about to be caught by blessing. And if this message has awakened something in your soul, pass it to one person you love. Let them know that obedience is never wasted. Let them know that integrity always pays. Let them know that heaven is still keeping books. Subscribe and stay connected, because what's flowing through this ministry isn't just content, it's revelation. Don't miss the next wave of heaven's word over your life. Chosen one, hear me one final time. God's favor is not waiting for tomorrow morning. It's not scheduled for next week. It is running toward you tonight. The hunt is on. The blessing is moving. And you beautiful, faithful, proven child of the Most High, you are about to be overwhelmed by the goodness of God. The favor is here. The breakthrough has begun, and your season of reaping has officially arrived. Conclusion. Chosen one, as we close this sacred moment together, I want you to carry 3 truths with you tonight. First, remember this: your obedience was never invisible. Every right choice you made, every sacrifice that went unnoticed by human eyes, every moment you chose integrity over convenience, all of it was witnessed, recorded, and treasured by heaven. Your faithfulness wasn't wasted. It was an investment that's about to yield returns beyond your imagination. Second, understand that God's favor isn't a reward you have to earn through perfect performance. It's a response to a heart that chose Him when choosing Him was costly. The favor hunting you down tonight isn't based on your strength. It's rooted in His faithfulness to those who remain faithful to Him. Third, never forget that your breakthrough isn't just about you. The blessing that's about to overtake your life will become a testimony that strengthens others who are still walking through their own seasons of testing. Your victory becomes their hope. Your vindication becomes their courage to keep going. You are not alone in this journey, beloved. Right now, there's a community of believers who understand your struggle, who've walked similar paths of sacrifice, who've chosen the narrow road when the wide road looked so much easier. We're here, we're praying, and we're believing with you that your season of favor has arrived. But let me ask you something that will settle in your heart tonight. When God's favor begins to manifest in your life, and it will you remember where it came from? Will you point others back to the faithfulness that unleashed it? Will you become the voice that encourages another chosen one to stay obedient when obedience feels impossible? Now, before you leave this sacred space, I want to pray over you with the authority that comes from knowing God keeps His promises. Heavenly Father, I come before your throne on behalf of every soul who has stayed with this word tonight. Lord, you see the one listening right now who chose you when it cost them everything. You see the tears they cried in secret, the sacrifices they made in silence, the integrity they maintained when no one was watching. Father, I ask you to release the favor that's been building in the heavenly realm. Let it break loose tonight like a flood that cannot be stopped. Open doors they didn't even know existed. Arrange divine connections they never imagined possible. Restore what was lost, multiply what was given, and vindicate what was misunderstood. Lord, comfort the weary, strengthen the weak, and remind the discouraged that you are still the God who rewards faithfulness. Let your presence be so real in their lives that doubt has no choice but to flee. Let your provision be so obvious that even their enemies will have to admit that your hand is upon them. And Father, as you pour out this favor, keep their hearts humble, keep their spirits grateful. Use their testimony to light the path for others who are still walking through dark valleys. Make them living proof that serving you is never in vain. We thank you, Lord, that favor is already moving. We thank you that breakthrough is already in motion. We declare that tonight is indeed the night heaven hunts them down with blessing. In the mighty name of Jesus, amen. Beloved, if this word has touched your spirit, I need you to let us know in the comments. Share what God is speaking to your heart. Drop a prayer request if you need the community to stand with you. And if you feel led, share this message with someone who needs to know that their faithfulness hasn't gone unnoticed. Remember, you're part of a community that believes in the power of prayer, the reality of divine favor, and the faithfulness of God. Don't carry your burdens alone. We're here to intercede with you, celebrate with you, and remind you that your story isn't over, it's just getting started. Thank you for staying with this entire word. Thank you for being part of this family of believers. If you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so. Not just for content, but to stay connected to a community that will consistently remind you of who you are and whose you are. Your season of favor has begun. The hunt is over. The blessing has found you. Now go and walk in the fullness of what heaven has released over your life tonight.